Welcome, my friends, to a world where the open road holds dark secrets and hidden terrors. Imagine, if you will, the life of a trucker. Endless miles of highway stretching before them, often traversed in the solitude of the night. A world where the hum of the engine is their only company and the shifting shadows play tricks on their weary eyes. In this world, ordinary becomes extraordinary, and the mundane can quickly morph into the terrifying. Tonight, we delve into 3 such tales from this world. Tales that truckers whisper in hushed tones during their brief respite at roadside diners. Our first story takes us on a chilling ride with a phantom hitchhiker, a spectral figure appearing out of nowhere, harbinger of an ominous fate. The second tale brings us face to face with the desert beast, a creature of the night that stalks the lonely desert highways. And our final journey takes us down the highway of lost souls, a road where travelers are said to vanish, never to be seen again. Hold on tight as we embark on this chilling journey. Our first tale takes us down a lonely stretch of highway where a helpful trucker encounters a passenger he'll never forget. In the dead of night, under a sky cloaked in a blanket of twinkling stars, our trucker finds himself on a desolate stretch of highway. The only company he has is the rhythmic hum of his truck's engine and the occasional hoot from a distant owl. Out of the darkness, a figure appears by the side of the road, thumb outstretched in the universal symbol of a hitchhiker. The trucker, a man not unfamiliar to the loneliness of the road, decides to offer this nighttime wanderer a lift. The hitchhiker steps into the cab, a chill air following him. He's a quiet fellow with an almost ethereal quality about him. His eyes hold a certain depth, as if they've seen centuries pass by. Their journey continues in silence. The only sound is the occasional crackle from the trucker's CB radio. The trucker feels an odd sensation, as if the temperature in the cab has dropped despite the heater working overtime. As the miles roll on, the trucker tries to engage the hitchhiker in conversation. He asks about the hitchhiker's destination, but receives only vague responses. The hitchhiker speaks of places that sound familiar, yet they're not on any map. His voice seems to echo, creating an eerie symphony with the hum of the engine. The trucker shrugs off the unease, attributing it to the late hour and the countless miles he's covered. The tension in the cab grows thicker as the hitchhiker's behavior becomes more mysterious. He talks about people and events of the past as if they were fresh memories. He gazes out of the window, seeming to see landscapes that aren't there, whispering about the beauty of the moonlit fields and murmuring about the sweet scent of flowers that don't exist in this barren stretch of highway. Just when the trucker decides to end this eerie ride, the hitchhiker asks to be dropped at a spot that's nothing more than a rusted old signpost. As the trucker pulls over, he's overcome with a chilling sense of dread. He turns to say goodbye, but the hitchhiker is gone, as if he'd never been there. Confused and frightened, the trucker steps out into the cold night. He finds an old, weather-beaten plaque under the rusted signpost. It commemorates a town that once stood there, a town that disappeared without a trace over 100 years ago. Shivering, not from the cold, but from the realization, the trucker climbs back into his cab. He stares into the rearview mirror, half expecting to see the hitchhiker's ghostly figure. But there's nothing, only the long, lonely stretch of highway bathed in the truck's taillights. And so, our trucker drives on, forever haunted by the phantom hitchhiker. Journey with us now to the sun-scorched deserts, where a trucker's routine delivery becomes a nightmare encounter with the unknown. This story begins on a day like any other, under the relentless heat of the desert sun. Our trucker, a seasoned veteran of the highways, finds himself on a solitary stretch of road, surrounded by nothing but arid sands and the distant hum of his engine. Suddenly, his eyes catch a peculiar sight. A group of desert creatures, usually scattered and hidden under the scorching sun, are huddled together in a strange, uneasy silence. It's as if they are collectively holding their breath, anticipating something. He brushes it off as a mere peculiarity of the desert. As he continues on his journey, the desert's eerie silence is broken by a sudden, thunderous roar. A monstrous shadow descends on his truck, shaking it violently. The trucker, gripped by an instinctive terror, fights to keep the truck under control. The beast, unseen but undeniably present, circles the truck, its roars growing louder and more ferocious. It's a nightmarish game of cat and mouse, with our trucker in the terrifying role of the prey. The trucker, driven by fear and adrenaline, maneuvers his vehicle with all the skill years on the road have given him. He manages to escape the beast's clutches and speeds away, leaving the monstrous entity behind. His heart pounds in his chest as he glances in the rear-view mirror, half expecting to see the beast in hot pursuit. But there is nothing, just the endless expanse of the desert, as silent and as mysterious as before. Days later, the trucker returns to the scene of his terrifying encounter, driven by a need to make sense of what happened. What he finds chills him to the bone. In the desert sand, he discovers the unmistakable footprints of a creature far larger and more terrifying than any known desert animal. The footprints lead to an ancient cave, the entrance of which is marked by primitive drawings of a beast resembling the one that attacked him. With a sense of dread, he realizes that he has crossed paths with a creature of legend, a beast spoken of in hushed whispers by the desert dwellers. A creature that is believed to be a guardian of the desert, a monstrous beast that awakens when the balance of nature is disturbed. As the sand settles, our trucker is left with a tale no one would believe. Now, we venture onto a highway whispered to be a path for lost souls, where a trucker's late-night drive turns into a chilling brush with the supernatural. Our third tale begins on a lonely stretch of road known as the Highway of Lost Souls. This highway, shrouded in darkness, is not your typical route. Truckers often speak in hushed tones about the eerie experiences they've had while traversing this desolate path. It is said that the dead wander here, seeking solace, or perhaps seeking to pass on their torment to the living. One trucker, let's call him Joe, would have his life forever changed by his encounter on this highway. Joe was an experienced trucker, having spent countless nights on the road, but nothing could prepare him for this particular journey. As he drove, he began to notice odd occurrences. His radio, usually a reliable source of companionship, would crackle with static and strange, disembodied voices. His headlights would flicker, illuminating figures that seemed to vanish as quickly as they appeared. As he delved deeper into the heart of the highway, the paranormal activity escalated. Joe's truck began to shake violently as if caught in an unseen storm. He would later recall the chilling sensation of unseen hands clawing at the doors, the windows. It was as if the lost souls of the highway were trying to get in, to escape their eternal torment. And then, the climax of our tale. Joe, driven to the brink of terror, decided to confront the spirits of the highway. He pulled his truck over, stepping out into the chilling night air. What he saw next would haunt him for the rest of his days. The highway was alive with spectral figures, their faces etched with sorrow and torment. They reached out to him, their ghostly hands passing through his body, leaving him shivering with an unbearable cold. It was then that Joe understood the horrifying truth. The Highway of Lost Souls was aptly named. It was a purgatory for spirits, trapped in their final moments, unable to move on, and he, a living soul, had trespassed on their realm. He had seen their torment, their eternal suffering. He had felt their desperate desire to escape. Terrified, Joe scrambled back into his truck, the cries of the lost souls echoing in his ears. He drove as fast as he could, the spectral figures fading into the rearview mirror. But though he escaped the highway, he could not escape the memories. The faces of the lost souls, their cries of torment, haunted his dreams. He was a changed man, no longer the confident trucker he once was. Our trucker escapes with his life, but leaves a piece of his soul on that haunted highway. This chilling tale serves as a reminder of the supernatural elements that may lurk in the darkest corners of our world. Whether you choose to believe or dismiss them, They remain, waiting in the shadows, on highways, in old homes, and in places where the veil between our world and the next is thin. We've reached the end of our journey, my friends, but the open road still holds many more untold stories. As we tread back over the miles we've traveled today, we find ourselves shivering anew at the recollection of our chilling tales. The Phantom Hitchhiker, who turned a routine drive into a nightmare of the supernatural. The desert beast lurking in the shadows of the barren wasteland, ready to pounce on unsuspecting travelers. And the highway of lost souls, a route that promises nothing but despair and horror for those who dare traverse it. Each story, a stark reminder that the open road is not just an expanse of asphalt and painted lines. It's a stage where the macabre dances with the mundane, where every turn can lead to a chilling encounter, where every mile hides a tale that can freeze the blood in your veins. We've journeyed through the heart of darkness, yet we've only just scratched the surface. There are countless highways and byways yet to be explored, countless stories waiting to be told. Stories of spectral hitchhikers, of monstrous creatures lurking in the dark, of haunted highways that lead to nowhere. The road is a vast, endless stage for horror, each journey a potential tale of terror. As we've seen from our stories today, the road can transform from a safe, familiar space into a realm of unspeakable horror in the blink of an eye. The next time you find yourself alone on a deserted highway, remember these tales and beware, for the road is a storyteller, and its narratives can be chilling to the bone. If you dare to hear more tales like these, subscribe and join us for the next chilling journey. Until then, keep your eyes on the road and your heart in your chest.